to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English, as you may already have noticed, and today it's a late night special, more or less, because, I have a lot of things to do in my life which are not that fun to do, and so I just had now the time to do it now. And so it's really late, but I will still give you one of the episodes here. And today we are going to have a look at 3 different games again, which are, for instance, Rocket of Milky Way, STELL, and Space Shooter. And you will notice that all of them are more or less the same game type in a different kind of way. And all of them are more or less rocket shooters or space shooters. And so let's have a look at that. If you are into that, stay tuned. If not, you might want to go to another episode or something. Okay, so first off course, I'm using the Arc mouse again, and I'm going to use the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard here. And in general, I could use the Xbox One as wireless controller, but there is no game that really supports it in a good way, so we are not going to use it in this episode. And other than that, of course, the normal setup is going on here, so we are going to use a Windows 10 mobile smartphone Lumia 950 XL in this case, which has a USB-C connector at the bottom, and that one is connected to the display dock, which is standing at the side here, and the display dock itself is connected to the TV, and like that we can more or less produce with the smartphone and this setup a desktop-like experience on a TV, and we can of course, for instance, use the Arc mouse and other stuff to interact with it. If you want to know more about that, please have a look at the corner up there. There are a couple of different other videos which are going to explain that more in depth. And then let's have a look at the first game, which is Rocket of Milky Way. All of them are more or less a little bit arcade-like, so if you like those old shooters from space and stuff like that, you will really love those. So let's have a look. It's called Rocket of Milky Way. There we are. This is going to be played with the keyboard in this case. So use the arrow keys on your keyboard, or maybe WASD should work too. And then we are going to have a look at the game. For that, I'm going to turn around just to play a little bit better, because otherwise I'm really slow. But yeah, as mentioned before, I like the game a lot because, as you can see, it's really retro, and it has this little rocket in the middle there, which is going to be your spaceship you are going to fly around with. And as you can see, there are a couple of different options. For instance, we can have a look at this, which is more or less just reset all. There's not much more in the settings, but you can of course, if you don't like to hear the music or something, mute it here, and other than that, just hit play, and let's see what the game is going to be like. And as you can see, this game, I'm just using the keyboard in this case with the space keys, better to say. And as you can see, there are a couple of different things going on here. For instance, there are all these little enemies and stuff like that that are going to try to kill you. And the interesting part about it is that there are a couple of different things you have to watch out for. For instance, no fuel. So you see the bar which is going to go down after a while, and for that you have to collect fuel, and fuel is collected by shooting at enemies which are going to give that free, and then you have to collect that and try to live with that. Other than that, you have only a couple of different hearts here. So hearts are of course life, so only a couple of times you can be hit by anybody else. And of course there are a couple of different other things which are going to be happening in the game itself. For instance, you are going to get some kind of a power up and stuff like that. Let's play it again and see if we can get to that state. As you can see, firing is done automatically. And now let's see if we can just get, for instance, that guy. No. But here, this is for instance the fuel. You have seen that the bar is going to be larger than, by enlarged more or less, and then you can fly again for a couple of seconds at least. As you can see, I just lost a life because I flew against one of the, against one of the asteroids here, and the problem is, that was it. So, okay, let's try again. you can't fly up and down, you can only fly to the sides, and then just try to live. And as you can see, if you are going to die, you are not shooting for a couple of seconds, so that's bad too again. Or one of the, better to say, if you are losing one of the hearts with it. And here is a power up. As you can see, we have now double fire. And so just try to stay alive as long as you can. Which isn't that easy in this game, if you ask me. But yeah, now it's working okay. As you can see, we have a better spaceship then. But the problem is, the moment you are going to lose one of your lives again, you are going to die again. And you are going to be downgraded with that. And like that, you are not going to have the extra power you got from the spaceship. And as you can see, it's pretty hard to play, but I really like it. So if you like those kind of retro rocket space themes and rocket launches and stuff like that, then this might be a really good start for you to have a look at. Okay, so let's have a look at the second game in this episode. The second game, as mentioned before, is also a space shooter more or less, but in this case it's called STELL. And STELL is a little bit different. Maybe not that retro, I don't know. It's somewhere in between. So let's have a look at that, and I'm going to use them as a mouse in this case again. And of course I'm going to show you what's going on here. So STELL is the name of the game. And what you're going to do here is more or less you're going to use the mouse to control the ship and where it's going to fly through. And in the end, it's pretty hard too. I will show you why. So STELL, there's not much to see here. You can only click on that button, which is going to give you a little bit of information about your game you're going to use here. And you got this one, which is more or less a shop where you can get, for instance, different themes and skins and stuff like that. But in the end, there's not too much here to get, which is really important for you. As you can see, I only have very little money here. So extra health or something would be nice, but that's going to take a long time if you ask me. So tap start to start. So we are going to do that. And as you can see, now they are going to fire at you, and you will fire constantly too. And as you can see, it's a very interesting style, I would say, whatever. It's more or less like a meme style sometimes, and sometimes it's just going to be icons here. And as you can see, it's pretty hard to stay alive sometimes, especially if they are going to fight you like they do here. There we go. Good thing is you're not going to die immediately, but only with a second hit. And if you are going to stay alive for a longer time with only one of the lives, or this faded out version, whatever, you're going to be go to the other one again. Okay. So let's try that again. Yeah, so I already know that, thank you. Tap, and now we are going to fly around. And as you already have seen here, it's pretty hard to stay alive. Because they are really firing at you at a pretty high pace and stuff like that. But good thing about it is you have some kind of power-ups too. And so you might be able to stay alive a little bit longer, but it's really hard to do sometimes. And of course, get the highest high score. This is more or less what the game is all about, so try that out to make it better than anybody, including yourself, before. Those are extremely hard to overcome if you ask me, and I died. But this is more or less what this game is all about. You see the graphics are very simplified and very easy to play for your hardware. So it's really fun to play it, but it's hard to do it. Especially on the smartphone, I think it's even harder to do because you have to get your finger to work with that. And then it's really not easy to go in this direction and work with that. But try it out if you like those kind of games. It's a pretty good one too. And of course, if you're really good at these arcade-like style games, whatever, this is a good one too for you. Okay, and now let's have a look at the last game of the episode. The last game of the episode is even called Space Shooter, so you already know what you are going to have to expect in this case. And yeah, it's more or less something like Asteroid, but not really. I will show you why not. And it's pretty fun to play, but pretty hard too. So, I will turn around again. And then let's see what we can do here. Go there. And somewhere there is Space Shooter Asteroid Attack. Done by Lewis Nicholson, as it seems. And yeah, the interesting part is that in this case, if you are firing at something, and you have to fire at the stuff, the interesting part is that you are going to be more or less thrown towards the target you're firing at. And so you really have to be careful how much you are firing, otherwise you're going to fly around uncontrollable, more or less. And the interesting part about it is that, as you can see, it's somehow a little bit like Asteroids, but not really. So let's have a look at the options here. So vibrate, I would just get rid of that accelerometer. If you want to play it with the smartphone, for instance, it's a different thing, but in this case I would just go with these kind of settings here. And after that I'm going to go to play, and we are just going to start. As you can see, this is your spaceship. Oops. And it has a health bar. And as you can see, depending on where your mouse is pointing, the spaceship is going to fly in that direction. And you are really fighting against a lot of different enemies here. Not only the asteroids, but there are a lot of different enemies which are trying to kill you, more or less. Okay, and so pretty hard, as you can see, and died. Okay, but as you can see, the moment you are going to fire, the spaceship is going to fly in that direction, and then you really have to try to navigate your way around with all the asteroids. If you are hitting an asteroid, that's always death. And if you are hitting, for instance, one of the laser beams or something, it's not there, so you're going to live, but you have a health factor here, and of course a score. So let's try it again. If I go to that, and now, okay, spaceship hit me, but that's not that important. We are going to try to kill. And as you can see, it's hard to get to a hold after that. And there are a couple of different enemies which are going to behave in a different way here. As you can see, we have those round ones which are just, which are just going to fire at you with a laser beam. Others are going to try to hit you by just getting in a collision with you, and so on and so forth. So let's try it again. If you are just firing once, for instance, as you can see, good thing is, okay. The good thing about all of this is, come on, okay. The good thing about it is that, for instance, you can hit other laser beams too. So if you are going to fire at the enemy and he's going to fire at you at the same time, then you're not going to die in this case, because you might catch his laser beams, and that's going to help a lot there. Ouch. It wasn't meant to be like that, but whatever. And as you can see, it's still going to be asteroid-like, because the asteroids are going to get smaller and smaller too. And other than that, just try to hit the high score. This is more or less what this game is all about. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And died. Yeah, you see, it's pretty hard to live long here, because you're really going to get yeah, more or less uncontrollable, as it would be in Asteroids too, but the difference is that you can't do it in a different way. So in Asteroids, for instance, you just would have to use the keyboard or something, and then just move your spaceship around. But that's really not the case in this case, so you're not going to be able to just turn in one direction or just fly in one direction if you want to, but it's really all about firing, and if you are firing in that direction, he's going to fly through with that too. I think that wasn't bad. But in the end, this is more or less a game. If you like those kind of games, try it out. It's really a nice one. You will learn to control it in a better way than I did here. And after a while, it's really fun to just try to avoid everything and fire at everything here. So just try it out. I think it's a great one. Okay, and with that, this is a very, very short episode. I'm pretty sure about that. And so I hope you had fun with it. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, the other button is there too. Other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Give us, for instance, like, of course, as mentioned before. And for instance, there is a subscription button you want to press. Maybe if you want to know about the other episodes too. And other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have any kind of commentary or whatever comments, questions, whatever, put them down in the commentary section below. I'm trying to answer everything. And other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode and bye.